Hey guys, Bottom25 here watching the launch. Wait, what? Oh, of Bangabandhu Satellite-1. Missed myself. So I'm just rewinding the live stream. This is Bangladesh's first communication satellite. At least a gestational one. And also I won't be waiting for the separation.
LD go for launch.
Yeah, first flight of Block 5 Falcon 9. Should be interesting. Okay, we're about 20 seconds away from launch. Also quickly.
Minus 15 seconds.
Falcon 9 is at point pressures.
You can actually see the pad deluge system.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Oh wow, that burst of smoke. This has to be a new camera view, but it looks bloody impressive. That is a lot of smoke though. Also, these certain areas of the vehicle that aren't painted like these because this vehicle is intended to have a quick turnaround speed. Like.
And you saw a Falcon 9 lift off in a beautifully clear shot there at 4:14 p.m. Eastern. T plus 10 seconds. The thrust vector control system tilted Falcon to begin a pitch kick maneuver to get it going sideways. You just heard that we're going supersonic and we're about to go through max Q when the rocket's pushing hardest against the atmosphere.
Vehicle is experiencing maximum dynamic pressure.
We've successfully achieved that major milestone of every rocket launch. We're actually decreasing the thrust in our engine a little bit around the time of max Q to minimize some of those forces. Coming up about 50 seconds from now,
Back engine chill.
there will be 3 events in quick succession. The main engines will cut off, the 2 stages will separate, and the second stage will start its Merlin vacuum engine, which you heard is just beginning its own chill procedure.
So I'm fairly sure they were in liquid oxygen too, to get it cool enough to be able to operate it properly instead of getting shocked by the temperature and potentially breaking. At least I think that's how it works. I could be entirely wrong.
Cutoff happening just a few seconds from now.
Yeah, the interstage does look different. But I don't know if the Block 5 is just affecting the lower stage. Good. Yep. And separation. And first stage ignition. I know how upper stage does look slightly different to me, but I don't know.
Those events occurring
You see
just as planned.
the RCS thrusters firing the grip
You can
into
see some of the
flying.
flicker from Merlin vacuum engine plume as it flicker in the cameras as that plume sort of interact interstage there for a moment. The next major event is the fairing deploy coming up just a few seconds from now. That's the second stage that will be deploying its fairing.
Yeah, considering the first stage doesn't have one. And I presume that's going to be just about now. Now.
Vehicle
Yeah.
is on nominal frequency.
Okay, essentially some
The
shaking on the
fairing
camera. I don't know if
way
what that was.
there's a
The first
Still,
stage.
they're light. They're made of carbon fiber and aluminum honeycomb, but they still represent excess mass. So we no longer need them once
I
we get
wonder
out
if
of the
they're going to be
atmosphere.
recovered. At least recovery is going to be attempted.
Acquisition of signal per meter.
For those of you just joining us, we had three events in rapid succession. We had a main engine cutoff from that first stage, we had a stage separation event, and then we had a second stage light, followed quickly then by a fairing separation. Right now, Falcon 9 is looking pretty good. Right now, let's go over what we can see on the left-hand side. That's a camera mounted on the top of the first stage of the rocket, looking down towards the 9 Merlin engines at the bottom. In that view, you can see those titanium grid fins. They slowly deployed just after stage separation, and those grid fins will allow the Falcon 9 first stage to guide itself back down towards the drone ship. Of course, I still love you. You can see brief flashes of those cold gas thrusters. They provide additional control authority for that first stage.
Here's his full name.
On the right-hand side of your screen is a camera mounted at the very bottom of the second stage, looking down towards the Merlin vacuum nozzle. Of course, at the very other end of that stage is the Bangabandhu Satellite-1. Right now, that Merlin vacuum engine is glowing red hot with those exhaust gas as it propels Bangabandhu Satellite-1 into its final geostationary transfer orbit. Our Falcon 9 first stage today is going to perform 2 burn maneuvers in order to get back down towards the drone ship. The first burn is going to be an entry burn coming up in about 30 seconds.
Slow the vehicle. Slow the vehicle.
You'll be able to see that entry burn start on the left-hand side of your screen.
And that's to slow the vehicle down as it re-enters the atmosphere.
As a reminder, those bursts of clouds coming out of the Falcon 9 first stage on the left are those cold gas thrusters that, in addition to the titanium grid fins, allow it to provide control itself as it comes back down through the atmosphere.
Okay, the entry burn has begun.
There's the startup of the entry burn. At this point, the Falcon 9 first stage is actually only about 10% of the mass that it was on the pad, so it's actually pretty empty of fuel and liquid oxygen right now. So this entry burn is only going to last a few more seconds.
Let's cut off.
And there it is.
Focused.
As that first stage gets closer and closer to the surface of the Earth, we should be able to see features such as clouds, waves, and eventually the outline of our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. It looks like there may be some condensation forming on the inside of the camera.
Yeah.
But we should get some good video. On the right-hand side of your screen, again, that second stage is still continuously propelling Bangabandhu Satellite-1 into orbit. Looks like we may have lost video from the cameras on that first stage momentarily. We'll see if we can get them back. One thing that is unique about this mission is that the second stage engine cutoff is going to happen before the landing, coming up in about 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, that is off, yeah. Normally the landing is before.
You can see in your mission status bar at the very bottom, the second stage engine cutoff and landing are right on top of each other, so be prepared for those 2 events to happen in quick succession.
Stage 1 landing batch started.
So it looks like we don't have a great video signal with that first stage right now, but we do have confirmation that the landing burn has started. Those landing legs should be deploying very soon. There it is.
The second stage cut off there is just a quick shot of the autonomous spaceport junction.
And
there it is! They've gotten the connection issues fixed pretty quickly because that was a very quick recovery after the landing. can still see occasional bits of fire.
After a brief interruption in the video signal, we are looking at the 25th recovered first stage of a Falcon 9 vehicle. What a great sight. That is a camera on our drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You. The crowd's going nuts here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne.
Of course, I said this is a new
While all that
version
was happening,
of the Falcon 9.
While all that was happening, we did have a successful second stage engine cutoff of that second stage carrying Bangabandhu Satellite-1. While we're all very excited here at SpaceX to recover our 25th booster, the primary mission is still to bring Bangabandhu Satellite-1 into geostationary transfer orbit. Right now, everything's looking good from that second stage. It's going to coast for about 17 minutes or so. We're not going to be with you for all of that. We're actually going to just look at a simulation of where that second stage is. However, we will come back in approximately 9 or 10 minutes to guide you through the rest of the satellite.
You know, I'll see if that's actually now, and if it is, then yeah, just give me one.
Well settled in their tanks, which is important for getting the second stage. Its second burn. That's coming up just a few seconds from. Oh, happening right now.
See the exhaust.
This burn is going to last for a total of about 1 minute, and it's going to raise the orbit from being just a couple hundred kilometers above the surface of the Earth into a geostationary transfer orbit, where the maximum altitude is 36,000 kilometers above the surface of the Earth. So in these few minutes before separation at this point, only a couple more things are going to be happening. We're bleeding our propellant lines down to bring down the pressure in the plumbing. After the burn is complete, that is, which should be happening in about 15 or 20 seconds from now. And there you saw it, completed its second burn. Let's take a few moments to make sure that we've entered the expected orbit.
Good final orbit.
And we've gotten confirmation that we are in a good final orbit. So now there are only a couple minutes before that payload deploy, and that's when we're bleeding down the propellant lines to bring down the pressure in the plumbing. The propellant that used to be in those lines, we're giving some time to float away from the vehicle. After that, we'll slowly spin the stage and payload to a rotation of 1.5 degrees per second, a rotational rate there. Then we'll release the satellite and let it gently float away on its geostationary transfer.
We'll just pause video here until we
that
get a
deploy
bit
event is going to be coming up in just about...
On the right-hand side of your screen, you can see a camera view of the satellite itself from the very bottom. It's currently attached to the top of that second stage by way of a payload adapter fitting. In about 10 seconds, we should be able to see that payload adapter fitting release, and Bangabandhu Satellite-1 will be able to watch that.
It would be nice if you actually showed us the satellite. There you go. Separation. Okay, I've got my side.
On screen, we successfully deployed Bangabandhu Satellite-1, and it's on its way to final geostationary orbit.
Cheers, that was launching Bangabandhu Satellite-1. The Falcon 9 Block 5, I'm Button 25. Oh wait, actually no, never mind, they usually do something again, let's see if they do. They do this time.
So quick recap of the
mission. Right there in the black chest.
We launched at 4:14 p.m. Eastern. We successfully separated the two stages, caught the first stage, had 2 burns of the second stage with a coast period in between, and as you just saw, Bangabandhu Sat is floating. Bangabandhu Satellite-1 is floating away.
As you can tell, the crowd is extremely excited. It's a big day
I
for both us
presume
and the nation of Bangladesh. we're going to bring the coverage of the webcast to a close. SpaceX would like to thank our customer, Thales Alenia Space, and their customer, the Bangladesh Telecommunication Regulatory Commission. We'd also like to thank the U.S. Air Force, the Range, and the Federal Aviation Administration for supporting the launch. And of course, thank you, the viewer, for tuning in today.
If you'd like to join us, check us out at spacex.com/careers to contribute to some of the work that we're doing. Otherwise, look for updates on our next mission on our social platforms or our website. Thank you again.
Yes, so then, right, that was launched Bangabandhu Satellite-1. It's by Falcon 9 Block 5. I'm Bangabandhu 25. Goodbye.